let him ask the question.
Generally, well,
I just want to hear the question.
okay.
Just go.
My question is, what did Casey say to you about this allegation that she had taken money from your mother?
That's not the question you asked me.
Well, answer the question I did ask you.
Okay, what you just asked me is what did Casey say to me? She told me she was sorry. You asked me a question earlier about why she took it. So ask the same question because she wasn't working.
I don't believe I said that, ma'am, and if I did, I apologize.
Yeah,
okay.
you asked me why she would take it if she was working.
All right.
And you wanted me to figure that out.
Well, let me ask you that question now. Is it your understanding, or did you ask Casey, why was it, let me re-ask it. Did you ask Casey, why was it that she had taken money from your mother if, in fact, she was working?
I can't remember if I asked her that. What I made her do is talk to my mom and had her and my mom work it out. It was not between me and Casey. It was between my mother and Casey.
Did it cause you some concern, though, knowing that this had taken place and that Casey may have been hiring a babysitter from money that she had coming in from a job? Did that cause you any concern in your mind?
I did not put the two and two together at that time.
Was that the only time she's stolen something from your family members?
Casey's only ever taken something from her grandmother.
How about from you? Did she ever use your credit cards without your permission?
That's not relevant to this case.
Not my question. Did she ever take and use your credit cards without your permission?
It's not relevant to this case.
It's an ongoing investigation. Just, you know.
Well, is it an ongoing? Oh, come on. Is it an ongoing investigation of you? Are you being investigated in that?
We don't know.
Okay.
We don't know the answer to that, Mr. Bill.
Well, I'm going to ask the question then, and the question is pretty specific. Okay. As far as your interactions with your daughter, did Casey ever take money from you by using your credit cards without your permission?
It's not relevant to this case.
It's not.
I'm not answering the question.
Okay, I just want to make sure, and you could discuss this with your attorney as far as your refusal. And again, ma'am, I'm going to tell you what Mr. Morgan told your attorney earlier, that this isn't a situation where, you know, this is treated lightly by the rules. If somebody refuses to answer a valid question, we may have to come back.
It's not valid to this young lady that's sitting here. Mr. Morgan went on TV and said that the reason he's doing this is because he wants his client cleared. So the reason I'm here is to clear his client. It has nothing to do with my daughters and my relationship. So let's move on to Ms. Gonzales so that Mr. Morgan can go home and I can go home. Because I'm very tired. It's been a long day.
I understand you're tired, but let's go back to my question, okay?
I'm not answering it.
All right, well, I just want to make sure maybe your attorney can advise you. In Florida, we have certain rules about not answering questions. If there's a privilege that applies, in other words, if you're under investigation for something, then it's okay not to answer. But here's what's going to happen. We're going to go to the judge, and we're going to explain it to the judge, and the judge is going to say, we get to come back and ask this question, and this whole thing is going to go over one more time. I know you don't want that. I know Mr. Conway doesn't want that, and none of us want that. So before you say you're not going to answer the question, maybe you want to confer with your attorney about that?
You might want to go to the judge and explain why Zenaida has Fernandez Gonzales on the complaint when Fernandez is not her name.
Do you want to advise your client or not?
It's the same thing. So, you know, if you guys want to do perjury, then go for it. I'll take my chances with the judge.
Okay. Mr. Conway, is that your position, too, as her attorney? That she's not answering this question that I'm asking?
We don't know whether there's an investigation or not, so let's move on.
Are you taking the Fifth Amendment?
Let's move on.
Oh, you got to
No, I need to know the basis.
Are you taking the Fifth Amendment here?
I want to take a break and talk to my client. That's what I want to do.
Okay. Fair enough.
Time is 3:04. We'll go off record.
We'll just step out.
Time is 3:11. We're back on the record.
Do you want to re-ask your question?
Yeah, my question was there a point in time when your daughter had used your credit cards without your permission?
My client's position on that is that she doesn't want to answer that question right now, that the purpose of this deposition has gone way far afield, that the question giving the current pending criminal charges prevent her daughter from getting a fair trial. And so she doesn't want to answer that question right now.
Okay, I understand. But you understand the rules, Brad. You're an experienced attorney. If she may not want to answer the question right now, but what I want to know from a legal standpoint is what basis legally are you asserting for her not to answer the question?
That the question is entirely irrelevant that it will not lead to evidence that would be admissible in any way, shape, or form in the civil trial.
Let me, just for your edification, because I don't want to come back here, and I will tell you this. The relevance of it is if, in fact, there's a financial issue concerning her daughter, that tends to prove that her daughter was not hiring a babysitter or, in fact, a nanny. And also, if her daughter wasn't working and it was having to steal money from family members or other people, for instance, Amy Hazinga and the other people who were stolen from by Casey, that would also tend to prove that she wasn't hiring or paying for a nanny, the nanny person. That is the relevance of that, and that's why I'm asking that. I'm not asking it to impede any criminal case. I'm not interested, and we're not interested in depriving her of her right to fair trial, but I am interested in getting answers to my questions. So, as we say, we want to clear this person, Zenaida Gonzales, in this lawsuit, and that's what I'm here to do. That's what we've been doing this morning. That is the reason for the question.
We're here to help you do that,
Okay.
Mr. Dale.
So-
And in terms of payment, she's already established that she doesn't know whether the nanny was paid or not.
Okay,
So-
I don't want, listen, I'm not going to argue with you about
I
the case. I
understand.
don't need to. We're trying to
I know.
get everybody out of here, as you know.
Yep.
So I just want to understand, the legal basis that you were asserting, before we go back in front of Judge Rodriguez, is that she doesn't want to answer it. Is there another reason?
My client does not want to answer that because it's going to affect her daughter's ability to get a fair trial on pending criminal charges.
Okay. And I assume you've advised her of the implications of that.
We've discussed it.
All right, so ma'am, just so I'm clear, and I want it from, if you can just, as I understand, these questions I'm asking you about your daughter and the credit card, you're refusing to answer those questions.
It's not relevant.
Are you
Just
refusing
yes or
to
no?
answer the
Yes.
questions? Okay. All right, now, were there ever any conversations between you and your daughter, Casey, concerning taking money from family members, including yourself or anybody else, around the June time period?
Around June?
Yes, ma'am.
Be specific on the area around June.
Right.
Just yes or no. Just
Well, I want to
yes
know
or
what he
no.
means around. Are we
Yes or no, and
talking
let him
2 months?
clarify it. Okay, yes or no, and let them clarify the question.
What, did you ever have a discussion?
Nothing in June.
Okay.
No in June.
On June 15th, was there ever a discussion between you and your daughter over stealing $400 from your account?
No.
Did that ever take place?
I'm not even sure we're talking $400.
Okay, was there ever discussion with you and your daughter about your daughter taking money from your account?
Yes or no.
Yes.
Okay. When was that?
I don't know.
Was
You're
it-
asking me dates. I don't know.
Okay, well, give me a ballpark. Was it in the year 2008?
Yes or no.
Yes.
Right, was it around the time period leading up to the last time you saw your granddaughter prior to June 15th?
What time frame leading
Prior
up
to June 15th, in the year 2008, let's say in the May
I
time
already
period?
answered the
Okay.
question.
Well, let me get more specific.
Thank you.
In May, was there a discussion about, or an argument, or any type of discussion about your daughter taking money from your account and you not being happy about that?
Possibly in May.
And so it's fair to say that that was a sore subject or a point of conflict between you and your daughter right around this time period.
No.
Okay, so there wasn't conflict over that?
No.
And,
There was no argument.
okay, was it something you gave her permission to do, was to take money from your account?
Again, I'm not answering those questions.
I just want to be clear. You said there was no argument, so you're answering that. Was it something you gave her permission to do, to take money from your account?